Hey, you late, Pez?
It looks like that. Here's Heaney from the boundary line. He's an expert at these. From the boundary line!
Hello and welcome to Behind the Boundary podcast. I'm your host Pez. I'm here with Sauce. We're in the studio ready for a huge round 8, and there was a couple of irky things in round 7, Sauce.
Irky things, Pez, upsets, and some really great weather. I mean, Cairns is always known for some sunny sunshines, but that's not what we had on the weekend, Pez. You would have been happy with the result in that one. Happy that the Saints are selling games to secure some extra cash for the club.
No, as a St Kilda supporter, not really, but. You know, Port Adelaide side, what was the score in the end? 42-41, something like that. There was so many
scoring spectacle,
so many behinds. And my thing, you know, St Kilda lost, and you know I should be up in arms. I shouldn't sell games, but I don't think any club should sell games. I know they're trying to get into other markets, but that should be left for the preseason that nobody gives two stuffs about. And if you're trying to go international, like the AFL have tried to do, you want to do it as a TV broadcast, not as a, you know, go to China and play and do those sorts of things until you have a following. So I think that it should be the best spectacle we can. So we've got Marvel Stadium, we've got the MCG, you've got the home grounds of the different footy teams, and those suburban footy grounds, Ballarat, Cairns, Tasmania, get rid of them.
I mean, I sort of disagree, Pez. I think that you should be able to. I think you should be able to sell games, and I think it's fine to sell games. And you know, you're trying to raise money for the club, but I'm not okay with them doing it. Like, there's no reason why we need to play football out at the Altona grounds down the road for no reason. Like, you've got to be playing at grounds that are up to standard, not only stadium-wise, facility-wise, but in terms of weather conditions. The last 7 times the games have been played in Cairns, one team has scored 100 points. That was the Western Bulldogs when they scored 110 points against the Gold Coast. I think they scored 5 points or some shit like that. But torrential wind, average kilometerage of wind is up to 70 kilometres at those grounds. It's not football. Same with Ballarat, same with Bendigo, same with Tassie sometimes. If you're going to put games in football, play it where it actually matters. Like Whitten Oval, that's a great ground. It's closed in. You get good suburban football. You could sell your game there, but
you
not
imagine
these rubbish ones.
You imagine you're a sports fan and you are watching the great game of AFL for the first time. You turn on the TV and you watch a quarter of that rubbish up in Cairns where they can't kick any goals. The ball's just going up and down. It didn't look horrible on TV in terms of the torrential rain or whatever like that, but the ground looked bad. The grass was coming up, and they just couldn't showcase their skills. They're professional footballers. It's a professional competition, and I don't think it's worth what $500,000 they would get as a club to sell the game. It would be worth more to the AFL to just say, don't sell the game, we'll give you $500,000 and we'll play it at a proper ground.
I mean, Pez, the population of Cairns is about 150,000. So the 150,000, they're not even getting half of those people there. It's not even getting 70,000 there. They're getting, what, 20,000, 30,000?
Well,
is that the right market to be trying to target?
They're trying to get in there. We know that.
Why? They've got a guaranteed winner in Tasmania. Look at the Jack Jumpers, Pez. And I know. Shock. The NBL season is about to conclude after seven ruling years. But surely
45 game playoff series.
Surely the AFL take a leaf out of the NBL's book. The NBL took a gamble on the Jack Jumpers and going down to Tassie, and the whole place has embraced it. They're on this fairy tale run. You know, success obviously brings more support, but whilst, the only thing that I did notice when I was down in the shithole that is Hobart was the amount of people running around in Jack Jumpers jerseys. Jeez, that's hard to say. Jack Jumpers.
You'd imagine the school kids, the school age kids, they'd probably be playing basketball.
Oh, they'd be all over it. And especially Tasmania, no one cares about whether it's Launceston or Hobart. They're supporting Tasmania. You can't tell. It's only 2 hours difference between it. AFL, stop pissing around with Cairns and New Zealand and China. Get a team in Tassie, and we've made a lot of fun about Tassie over the last couple of years. But just put a team in there.
It's too late to put a new team there, Sauce. It's too late. There's 18 teams in the competition. You don't want to spread the talent pool that fast. So what they should have done is they should have put Tasmania in there as the 17th team, and then the Northern Territory in as the 18th team. But now they've stuffed up with the Gold Coast and GWS Giants. So you got to move. Who do you want? North Melbourne down in Tasmania because
Hawthorn.
They're there, and then Hawthorn. St Kilda, whatever. Maybe not St Kilda.
You agree?
Stay in there as
a
top 4. But North Melbourne, they should have gone years ago when they got the offer, got all the compensation for Gold Coast stuff, and they might have done a little bit better, and they'd be in a better position than they are now.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about, trying to sell games. We just get the clubs that aren't financial enough to get rid of one of the markets in Melbourne. Means that they're going to have another spot to go to. Like, obviously, the North fans, they want to follow shit clubs, they'll go follow St Kilda. Like, it's just right across the road. They can boost their memberships up, Pez. You can get
you need
a couple extra places.
I don't know what you're angry about tonight, but you do need to calm down.
I want my own segment after last week. I've got a perfect name for when I get angry, Pez. We can have the hot sauce segment. And
too many digs. Are you feeling all right or what?
No, I'm not.
Well, you're not. Are you feeling like the West Coast Eagles team, are you? All the way down with COVID.
A little bit of down with COVID, Pez, and just trying to escape the spotlight of the AFL bet slip and Pez, because I had a bit of a bad week last week. Not a horrible week, but a little bit of a rough one. But
let's have a look at how you went.
Soft review. It's no official review. How does it end? We don't know. They've kind of lost, but they've won as well.
Now, Sauce, we've had a few winning weeks here
behind
the boundary, and you've, I told you to pull your finger out. You did for a couple of weeks, and then you've just let yourself down. So you haven't let me down, because I don't give two shits how you do with your money, but you've let yourself down, and I didn't let myself down because I had a ripping round again.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Pez. I just deleted the tweets, and it's all good. So it's another positive week.
I have noticed more deleted tweets during the week. So
you got to love the accountability by some of gambling Twitter, Pez. But hey, I'm not shying away from it. I'm still in a good stead overall, 26% for the year.
The best thing, if you want, and we do have a bad season one time, we can just delete our Twitter, make a new one, make a new name. Same thing, and just do the same thing again, and then we'll be back at zero if we're down. But that's the thing.
We'll maybe call it beyond the boundary, or we'll go behind the boundary, or DA instead of the.
Oh, and we'll get sponsored by Snoop Dogg. You can do our intro and go from there. But let's talk about how we went in round 7, Sauce. The first game was an absolute debacle, and with the AFL fixturing, they got this one completely wrong. West Coast Eagles and Richmond Tigers, with Richmond having a 109-point win. Embarrassing for the West Coast Eagles fans that went along to that game. I got my cheeky up, which was the Moneyball special with the Tom Lynch in the first 5 goals. I think he kicked the fourth.
Kicked the fourth one and then kicked another 6-something after that.
A little bit of a bag to go from there. And then I also had my 3-leg same-game multi-source. I put the max 50 on it. It was Richmond to win, Richmond plus 29, but Richmond minus 6.5. And if this wasn't the least sweaty bet, I didn't have to sweat at all. You knew it was going to win 5 minutes into the game, and it was just sweat-free. Great start to the round.
Sweat-free, were you talking about West Coast performance? Because they didn't look like they broke a sweat at all, Pez.
Oh, they wouldn't, and a few of those players would be happy with their choices to go over there. Tim Kelly moving over from Geelong, he's doing well.
Yeah, good on him. As you said, Pez, I had the Tom Lynch bet as well, kicked one of the first 5, and I had a same-game multi with my bonus, Pez. I had Richmond. Was a little bit of sweat for me, Pez, at the alternate line, minus 2.5, and I had over 139.5, and that wasn't just Richmond scores, who scored 165. That was total game points. So it was a definite, it was a good little win there, Pez, for me.
If that was just Richmond over 139.5, that would have been playing a little bit if you can get a market like that. But it was a ripping start to the round, Sauce, and you said you had a bad one, so I don't know what's coming up. But
much more.
The next game was. Well, I don't know if you call it an absolute ripper, but Fremantle's defence against Geelong stood up down there. They've beaten them there before in a big game, and this was a game everyone during the week was talking about how Fremantle had to prove themselves.
Yeah, and they sure did.
No Matty Taberner, no Sean Darcy. I said last week that they couldn't win on the podcast. They come out. They won by 3 points in the end, but it was pretty comfortable. I don't think Geelong really had a shot there at the end because they were down by 15 or so points, and kudos to Fremantle, who fly in the top 4 on the ladder.
Yeah, Pez, it was impressive for Fremantle on 2 behalfs. One was the fact that they actually, they stopped Geelong, which we know that they've got a strong structured defence. And, the second part was that the way that they scored. They actually scored quite freely, and the way that they've implemented an offensive attack into this game and into this squad is really dangerous, because we knew that beforehand that they could stop people. They allowed 5 goals in the first quarter, and then they only allowed 5 more for the rest of the game. They really locked down in Geelong. They picked apart the way way that Geelong swing the ball. And, obviously not a Geelong podcast here, Pez, but Fremantle were extremely impressive. And it's not concerning for Geelong. It's really more impressive for Fremantle the way that they were tested on the road at a difficult venue to win at in Alphabet Stadium down there. But a really, really great result for Fremantle. And really, really big steps for them, because I think last year we thought, were they just one of those teams sitting 9th and 10th? And Pez, I think they're a real contender.
Mate, the funniest thing you've ever done on the podcast with Alphabet Stadium, you stole from another one.
Yeah, I know. Well, do you know what's even funnier, Pez, was my bet in this game, because I went 0 for 3 in this one. I had Joel Selwood to get 20 or more disposals. First time this season he hasn't got it, Pez. Sat on a nice little 19. Tommy Atkins, my saviour, and I've noticed they've taken him out of the 15 disposals. He got 21 or something like that. And Jeremy Cameron, again, picked the wrong forward, Pez, because Hawkins had 3 and Cameron kicked 1.
Joel Selwood, he had 20 at one stage, didn't he?
Yeah, they didn't count though, because we lost.
Oh, yeah. I thought you got a bet return for this.
No, I don't think I did, Pez. And you know what I did? Yes, you little ripper. So 25. Well, you put it in a different colour. Yeah, sick.
It's changed. So if it's green and it's a bet return, it means you haven't used it.
Oh, okay.
If it's blue, it means you used it that round.
Oh, I was looking at my stats. I was looking the bet during the third quarter, Pez, and I wasn't very happy at all with the way it was going. So no. I threw the phone around and played with my nephew at his first AFL game.
just continue to do that. All
it was nice.
Well, first AFL game and a loss, no good for him.
It makes it a little bit less distracting, because when we were playing shit football, I could at least play with the kid.
True. The next game was Adelaide versus GWS. I had 25 on this one, and I had Adelaide plus 5.5. I thought Adelaide would maybe get up and win by a couple of goals, but the Giants absolutely flogged them.
Yeah, called it, Pez. Called it here first. I definitely said that GWS were a big shot here.
Yeah, 1-39, didn't get
definitely.
up.
Hey, Pez, it was looking really good for my my $26 bet there. I had Taylor Walker to kick 5. He had 4 touches, I think. He kicked 3, he had 2-1.
If he ended up kicking 5, though, maybe it would have been 1-39 and you would have got your ridiculous bet up.
Well, I thought that, and after that first quarter, that real terrible first quarter that they displayed, 5-1, and that second quarter where they kicked 11 goals to 2, normally what teams do in those third and fourth quarter, they sort of let it get a couple of consolation prize, Pez, but not to be. I went 0 for 2, and the only reason I got the other one was the pick your own line, plus 26.5, which was a godsend by the end.
Oh, yep. No good from there. So we head over from Adelaide Oval, go back to the MCG, where Hawthorn have been on fire at the start of Game Source. They kicked the first 2 goals against Melbourne and were looking decent. And I had Melbourne to lead it every quarter. They had a shot for goal in the last minute of the quarter to get up and, win the quarter, and they missed that shot at goal, which means I missed my bet because Hawthorn led at quarter time. Melbourne kicked away by a little bit, but then Hawthorn came fighting back and only lost by 10 points here at the MCG.
Yeah, but it was not really a 10-point loss, Pez, was it? Because the moment that
that's what it says.
No, but the moment Melbourne turned it on, it was game over. Like they always felt pretty comfortable. I thought watching the game that they were a 2 or 3 goal, probably 4 goal difference in that. But Pez, I was happy for this one because it was the only other bet I got up for the weekend. So I had Petrarca or Tom Mitchell, the money line Moneyball special to get up. $25 on that one, Pez. And the most disappointing thing with this one is I didn't put the max bet of $25.01.
No, you were worried about your overall thing.
I hit the wrong button. Just put the 25 on.
Did you get double your winnings because Mitchell and Petrarca kicked a goal?
No.
Doesn't work like that.
One or the other, Pez. Whilst I was not good at reading stats, read the screen, Pez.
All right.
Ooh, yeah, told you. I'm up and about tonight.
Doesn't happen. So if you want to skip the next game, you can, because it was a horrible debacle.
Yeah, well, I had over 155 points, Pez, and they could have played this game 3 times. I don't know if they would have got to that score. It was absolutely disgusting. Torrential rain, as we said, and terrible conditions. We had St Kilda minus 8.5 as well as my double up bonus bet. What a waste of money, what a waste of time, and what a waste of viewing experience from anyone that had to watch that game.
Look, before the game, I was feeling good about my little same game multi. I had St Kilda plus 7.5, which ended up getting the tick under 186.5, which is a big tick. But I did the 50 point or 55 point spread. I had it over 131. They only got 83,
85.
So it was absolutely horrendous. It didn't get up. I got a bonus. It is in green there on Twitter at Behind the Bound on the betslip. So I've used that bonus this week to try and get that horrible bet back.
Yeah, Pez, on to the next game. Well, the next 3 I steered clear from, but the North Carlton game, it was pretty much business as usual. We expected a pretty sort of displaying by Carlton of kicking it on and turning it on. Paddy Cruz, Pez, is he in Brownlow form. He's 35-1, and 3 shots at goal, absolutely dominating.
He's just a bull in that middle,
Absolute
and it was against North Melbourne, but you got to pad your stats if you want to win the Brownlow against North Melbourne. If you play them twice, it's very, very good. If you're a midfielder that can kick goals, you kick 3, you have 30, you're usually going to get the 3 votes.
Exactly right. Perfect 10 in the players' coaches'
perfect 10.
odds. Yeah,
It doesn't happen too often.
Second time it's happened this season for him.
There you go, beautiful. I'm going to skip to my multis source because there's a reason I have to do that. I lost both of my multis. I was confident. I was flying high with my multis all season source with ticks everywhere, multiple multis. We got Finster doing little gifs and memes on Twitter at Behind the Pound about multi 1, multi 2. So my first multi, Richmond, Melbourne, Carlton all got up, and Geelong let me down by 3 points there. So I got a bonus back there. And my other multi, I had Melbourne, Carlton, and St Kilda, who let me down, who led, with 2 minutes to go in the game, and 2 points to Port Adelaide stopped that from happening. So I got a bonus. But with those bonuses, I used them to try and win money back. So on the Sunday, I used both of those bonuses. So I'm going to speak about how I go there.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing when you haven't even started the second Saturday night game yet, and you've already lost all your multis, isn't it, Pez? But the moral of the story for that one is obviously steer clear of our 2 teams when betting. We should just stick to Ned's special and bet our 2 teams playing each other.
From memory, you had both of our teams in your multi.
Yeah, Moral of the story, if I can tell you now, spoiler alert, it lost.
It worked the week before, but
been working for the rest of the season.
One of my bonuses was a $50 bonus, and I just put it on multiple games here source with Tab. So I wonder if you like this one. No, just same game multis, bang, 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 bang.
Oh, yeah.
In the Essendon game, I had over 155.5, which was, there's always a quarter where they score pretty low, and then it just ended up kicking away. The Bulldogs kicked a high score, and over 155 ended up getting over very, very easy. In the Gold Coast game, I had Gold Coast plus 40.5, and I had over 139.5, so both of those got up quite easily as well. And the last game, the Sydney game, over 140.5, and Daniel Rich to get 20. Lucky me, he got 2 from kick-ins in the last minute.
Oh, Pez.
To get to his 20. It was awesome. I put the bonus 50 down. It says return 134, but it only returned 84.50 because you don't get your bonus stake back.
Did you do that through Tab, Pez? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that they do that.
No, they should put...
They went for viewers who don't use Tab, what they do is you put the bet down and let's say it's $50 at $2 odds, and it says that you return $100 on the bet slip. So then you get the money in your account. It goes, boom, $100. Like, oh yeah, little ripper. Then you close the app and you get back in. It's like a refund adjustment from bonus bet, and they take the 50 back off you. So not only they dangle the little carrot in front of you, and then they take it away, Pez.
Yeah, it's just an adjustment. But with Ladbrokes, with my next bonus... Yeah. They actually just put the estimated returns.
And that's what I like. But they have the estimated returns actually in the bet slip.
In the bet slip as well.
Very, very good feature of
which is very good. So those were all games. But the next game that I did was the Sydney game. But did you have any bets on the Sunday before I go?
No other bets from there, Pez. The only bet I had was in the Sydney game where we went head to head, Pez, and what a great game of football this was.
Oh,
this should have been the Friday. This should have been the Friday. Thursday night game. We said that last week on the podcast. It was a great spectacle. There was 9 points apiece in that first quarter, source, where Sydney, they were looking good, getting inside 50, but they were just bombing it away, and Brisbane were defending really well. So it was quite strange. You had Sydney at the line. I had Sydney minus 2.5 on Neds, and you obviously went the other way, Pez, for memory. But what was good about this game, Pez, really impressive for Brisbane. They won this game twice. Like, they jumped ahead for 35 points in that second quarter where they piled it on, and they took the air out of the game. Then they also, which not many people in the modern era would be able to say they survived, a buddy game, a buddy quarter, where Buddy goes nuts.
It was worth the price of admission.
Four goals in 5 minutes, and they were able to overcome that. Because normally when that happens, Pez, when a champion fires up, game over.
They kicked 5 as a team.
I know.
Buddy was looking unstoppable. They changed Gardner off him, and it just looked like he wasn't there anymore. And Brisbane just ran over the top. Lockie Neal, 3 votes in this game, 100%. Wow. He was absolutely everywhere, getting the clearance. Not only getting the clearance, but he was running the ball out himself. He didn't even have to handball it out. And then he was making 50, 60 metres.
It took him back to his Brownlow days, Pez, where he just put the team on his back and just went, you know what, boys, we're not losing this game. Let's go.
It looked like he was playing against North Melbourne, but he was playing against a decent side in Sydney. My original bet, I had a same game multi. I had over 139.5, which wasn't looking good at 18 points a quarter time. Brisbane plus 2.5 and Brisbane plus 38.5. So that was the max 50 at 242 odds to return 121. And my bonus that I got from my Ladbrokes multi-source, I put this on. We put Hugh McCluggage for 20, over 138.5, Brisbane plus 2.5, Brisbane first quarter plus 0.5.
Oh, I love
it was a draw.
Loving it.
Bang, ready to go. And Daniel Rich, his 20 plus disposals. I was a big sweat because there's a $214 return. And then the other one was a $80-something return. So it was $300 there on Daniel Rich getting 20. And he got these last two in that last minute, kicking in from the goal square. And it was absolutely beautiful to watch.
One of the little betting hacks, Pez, is to work out the teams and who actually kicks in the ball from those lines. And when they do that play on, bang, you laugh. And I remember the week before sitting there watching the Geelong game, Stewart needed one more disposal, and he has an open kick in, and he doesn't play on, and he kicks the ball open. He ended up getting the handball back 3 or 4 times.
Lucky.
But it's an easy one to get, Pez.
You know what happened during that game, though? Daniel Rich started taking the kickouts. And then he stopped. He wasn't taking the kickouts for 3 or 4 behinds in a row. And I'm like, what are you doing, Daniel Rich? Play some defence. And he ended up getting all his disposals. So happy for me. And that sums up my round.
Yeah, speaking of sums, Pez, I lost my multi, which we know about. I had 50 on that. But I might as well get into the summary of the round. For the round 7, I staked $185.98 there, Pez. Returned $128.80, an ROI of minus 30.74. So a little disappointing for that round, Pez. But that's what happens when you back Geelong and St Kilda in the simultaneous multi.
Yep, you don't want to do that. Round 7, I staked $310.01, returned $571.55 for an 84.36% return. I'm never going to complain about that. For the year source, staked $1,750.02 and returned $2,850.57. So over 1K source, I'm raring and ready to go. Improved the ROI there to 62.88%, which is unheard of. I mean, uncharted territory.
Yeah, it's especially so early in the year, Pez. It's normally where you can get later in the year where you claw it up slowly, but you're betting big. You found a system that's working, and I might have to adapt some of your techniques after this round. I've got one more strategy I'm going to try this week, and we'll see how we go. But for me, whilst a disappointing round, Pez, not a disappointing season at all. We aim for the 10% par, Pez, and 26.16 for the ROI for the season. Love and life. I've staked $1,135.99. That 1 cent, that's going to kill me, and returned $1,433 Pez and 19 cents. So, whilst a disappointing round, still flying good in the green.
Flying good in the green, and I'm going to be doing the same. How many rounds have we had? 7?
7.
I've had 1 losing round, and it was losing by a very, very small amount. So 6 winning round source, and I'm going to make it 7.
Ooh.
The fact that the size of the bets was relatively small.
Our bets with an opportunity about 50 metres out.
I was with a mate, and we were getting sort of ready to leave, and he said, I think I'm going to whack 10 on Maxi. Do you want some as well? And I said,
Oh, yes! Yes!
Pez, I love the confidence, making another winning round. I love that. Hopefully what you're talking is just as special as some of the specials we're about to see.
Cyril takes a special and goes bang!
Yeah, and we start off, as always, with Sportsbet, and disappointing after the first 5 rounds when they had the best specials about. Now they've only got this, whatever this is called. It's called Bet Returns All Matches This Round, and I don't actually know what that is, but if you've got Bet returns.
I've got bet returns, Pez. They're in green on the bet slip.
If you've got bet returns in Sportsbet, good for you. You get them for all matches this round.
Yeah, they're great little graphic as well, Pez.
Head over to Ladbrokes, 3-leg same game multi.
No need. I can stay with my multis on Sportsbet.
Well, you get 1 refund per day, so I get a little bit.
Oh, and I get the bet return too. So that's a sneaky little one you can put in there.
You can do for both.
Sorry,
they've got the $2 lines Friday and Sunday games, and they've got the mega multi AFL and NRL 4+ legs, 6+ legs, 8+ legs. Have a read of that if you are interested. Neds, they've got the same $2 lines Friday and Sunday. They've got the early payout if you're up by 20+ at halftime, and they've got the same game multi. It's 1 refund per day. Head over to Bet365. They've taken away the up by 32 points. Couldn't find it, source. So they've only got the multi offer where you can increase your percentage if you want to do that. Head to tab. Head-to-head 3+ leg. If one fails, you get your money back. So that's where we're at because Sportsbet took away their 4-leg one where if you lose 2. All games for same game multis, but still, this is last week they changed the source. You have to do 4 legs now, not 3. So
Don't like it.
So 4 legs. If one fails, you're out. you're already pushing it if you're doing more than 3+ legs in a same game multi there. Venue mode for anyone that does that, lead at halftime but lose, bonus back up to 50. Now Moneyball, disappointing this week's source. Didn't find anything on there. There was one for the NRL, but for the AFL, they've got a 4+ leg multi offer, but your minimum odds have to be $3 and you get a bonus. So that's even worse than the tab one. And you've got AFL same game multi for AFL, NRL or NBA. So they're trying to, promote it twice, but I didn't find any other Moneyball ones.
Yeah, Pez, I've got some bad news for you. You might have had the ban on Moneyball because there is 2 specials out there, Pez.
No, you can.
Nah, you might be having the ban, Pez. You've got. I'll help the listeners out there.
Can't be banned already.
So the Aaron Norton one in the Western Bulldogs game. Aaron Norton, one that we've had a couple of times to kick any of the first 5 goals of the match, paying a $5 max bet of $10. And there's also the Essendon Hawthorn game where they've got Darcy Parish or Tom Mitchell to collect 33 disposals at $2 with a $25 max bet. So $25.01. Poor old Pez. Have you been bad, Pez?
No, it just wasn't there when I was there. So that is good. I'm just putting the max on both of those at the moment.
Yeah, well, I've got some more bad news for you, Pez. I know you haven't finished your little spiel over there, specials. So I might let you finish your spiel.
Yeah,
first,
let me finish because we've
I'll
got
get
a
into the
brand
bad
new
news.
one.
We do.
A bit of blue bet.
Oh.
It can give you blue. It can keep you blue.
Is that their slogan? It can give you blue.
I don't know what it can do, but this was thanks to someone on Twitter who actually told us about this special last week. The early payout, 12+ points at halftime, you win. So I've actually used that this week. I had to create an account. It was a little bit, blue bet if you're listening, a little bit fidgety when I was doing my deposit and it wouldn't work and I had to key in my details a few different times. But I got there in the end and made my bet.
I think it's ironic as well, Pez, because I think there's the quick sign up one. It's like, yes, you only have to enter your name and username, and then it takes like 20 minutes to deposit money. It's
unbelievable!
Tough.
It's like they got a timer waiting or something.
Yeah.
Smith and Wines in the Port Adelaide Western Bulldogs game, 60+ disposal at $5 they combined for that. I don't know if I love that, but if you like that, that's a little bit cheeky because it is $5, and that concludes the round 8 betting specials.
Doesn't actually, Pez. I was having a little bit of a look-see on. I actually don't know what I was looking on, and I had this little notification pop up, Pez, that you've forgotten one of the betting agencies. Good old Pickle Bet, Pez.
That's not a real agency.
It is a real agency, Pez, and their specials aren't great, but I thought I'd go through them for you, Pez. So they've got some terrible graphics too. So they've got the first one's the Western Bulldogs to win and Cody Waitman to score 3 goals. At amazing odds of 570 with a James Hird sort of lookalike little drawing there. That's terrible value.
That's not great odds.
Not at all. Well, you've got Collingwood to win and Jack Giovanni to score 3 goals.
How much?
$4.
That's crap odds.
Yeah, so crap. Or Darcy Parish to get 30 disposals. That's pretty good odds, Pez. And anytime goal scorer, and he hasn't kicked a goal all year, $5.20.
He's got to do both of them?
Yeah, he's got to do both of them. And have a look at that graphic.
They've got like bobbleheads with like
this one looks
Momo
like
eyes coming out of their heads or some shit.
Momo eyes. Looks like he's possessed by a demon. And then the last one, Pez, probably the best of them all, actually. Carlton to win by 25+ and Sam Walsh to be anytime goal scorer, $5.20. So that's probably the closest one I think that's going to get up. The rest of them, though, pickle bet, lift your game, but you are new to the market.
So how much was Cody Waitman's one paying?
It's paying $5.70 to kick 3 goals and Western Bulldogs to win.
It's 4. That's not good. That is not good. He's paying $4.50 on Sportsbet to kick 3+. The Bulldogs are paying $2.25 to win. You put that into 2-leg multi.
At the stage when I took the screenshot, it was $1.85. It was even money. So it's a little bit different with the teams that have come out. But Pez, it's not great in terms of, I like the innovation in the name. Fun little name, Pickle Bet. But in terms of their specials in introducing to the market, not great.
No, that's horrible. That's horrible value on Pickle Bet. So they do not get to come into our screens and betslip on Twitter until they improve.
You know what? I like the innovation in the name, Pez. Pickle Bet's fun to say.
Yeah, that's the only reason you want to speak about it. But
No, I wanted to bring awareness that just because betting agencies have specials there and huge promos doesn't mean they're always the right odds, Pez. Because
so Pickle Rick can get stuffed.
Oh, I think that you'd be a bit pickled if you tried those pairs because they're not great specials. But speaking of great value pairs, we step into our favourite segment of the show, Bet Slip. All right, so let's get into the first game. The first of two Friday nights pairs. We head over to Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide taking on the Western Bulldogs. $1.60 favourites are Port Adelaide after a rough start to the season. $2.25 outsiders are the Doggies. -6.5 is the line. Over under 154.5 pairs. For this one, I don't want to know about their season. Port Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs, they both played off in a prelim last year. Well, what's going on? Like, this is not where we expected the teams. Who needs this win more to bounce back to top 4 form?
Well, 5 wins between them. I think Port Adelaide have had a shocking start and they're not competing for top 4. So the answer to that question is Western Bulldogs, and only because they've had 3 wins. But they've been super disappointing. They should have 4 wins. They did lose against Richmond when they kicked horrendously. In that game. So you say the Bulldogs, but they are missing Bontempelli sauce. So they've gone out to $2.25 favourites. Not favourites, but $2.25 not favourites. And they're going to struggle over Adelaide Oval if Port Adelaide can, drip dry their clothes from cans and recover and get all those niggles out of the way when they're playing on that horrible ground. But a very interesting one betting-wise.
I'm not sold on Port Adelaide, Pez. Obviously the Western Bulldogs, we think are the team that's going to bounce back to top 4. But both these teams, Port Adelaide, they have half their games in Adelaide. That should be, some easy wins there. But I think the odds here are a little bit skewed on some, some interesting results. Obviously, last week they escaped after an inaccurate St Kilda and torrential rain. So let's put that down to what it was. It was a pretty shit game. They probably should have lost that game on form alone and St Kilda's kicking. The other one is they beat West Coast. So they're on a 2-game winning streak when realistically it's probably a bit skewed there. The Western Bulldogs, they do lose Bontempelli in this one, and he has been pivotal in big moments and that. But their list and the form that the Western Bulldogs have been in hasn't been great. But I still think they're a better side than Port Adelaide, and I think that the bookies have actually got this one wrong on a huge adjustment just from Bontempelli.
Yeah, Bontempelli's a big name, and a lot of...
not to swing the odds 40 cents though, Pez.
Hey, a lot of bettors that just look at that will go, yep, Port Adelaide at home, Bontempelli's out, I'm jumping on Port. But we've got to go through their season and see. You play on form. Port Adelaide have won 2 in a row. Anyone that's just looking at it will say, yep, we'll bet Port Adelaide. This is a hard game to tip, let alone bet source. So I think that it'll be a close game. I've got the Bulldogs to win a close one, so I'm not going to sit on the fence or anything. But my little bet that I've put together, I've put my bonus bet, and this is before the Bontempelli news, but I'm gonna stick with it because I have to. I've got no choice. But my Ned's bonus bet from last week, I've gone over 75.5 points in the first half, so 76 or more. I've gone over 37.5 points in the first quarter, and over 154.5 in the total game. So just over. A bump over. And then either team at the end of the day to win by less than 24 points. Those in a 4-leg multi, the bonus 50 will return me 234 because it's $5.69. And because it's $5.69, max 50 bonus.
Cheeky!
I've got to press the cheeky button.
You got to press it, Pez. Well, then in that case, I'll press the...
Cheeky!
But that's only for my my money line one, Pez. My money ball, sorry. Aaron Norton to kick any of the first 5 goals of the match. That is paying $5, and I've whacked $10.01, and I've definitely got it there, Pez. I pushed the max bet.
You know what? I should jump in and say I'm going to do that, but I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to put it on. I'm going to leave that one to you, and you can enjoy Aaron Norton kicking the 6th goal of the match.
Nah, come on, Pez. Please, come on. We're a team here. But I also have another bet on Pez, and I originally was about to cash out. I could have cashed out for $47.50 because I did put the max 50 on it. I put this down before I saw the news, but you know what, Pez? I'm going to stick with it. I believe that one player doesn't make that big a difference, and definitely not a 40-cent swing. I've gone Western Bulldogs head-to-head. Western Bulldogs, pick your own line, plus 27.5 Pez. And I've gone Todd Liberatore to get 20 or more disposals. So him in the midfield actually with Bontempelli out works for me.
Yep.
I think that they've got a good shot. That gives me odds of $2.40 with Sportsbet. One leg fails, money back because I've got my bet return. But I have marked back to 50 on it. I am a little bit worried though now with that lineup. But as I said, I think that the results are a little bit skewed with Port Adelaide for the last 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that the Doggies get it done and kick their season off.
Yeah. Just before we get into the next games, as a punter source, I do love looking at the disposal markets and anytime goal scorers and 2+ goals and things like that. Remember the good old days, 3 years ago, 2 years ago even, before COVID happened and everything, the odds were actually fair.
Oh, fair.
Now,
it's not fair at all now.
Now the odds are just shortened. They're made for the punter to lose. So be careful. You can find value when you can. I liked Liberatore's value. I think it was $1.22 when I saw him on Sportsbet or whatever he was. But they don't even have the teams are out, yeah, and they don't even have the disposal markets up yet for us to have a look at and put out on our bet slips anyway. So I've had to not do too many of those disposal markets, and I haven't done that this year. But with my bonus bets, I did put my Daniel Rich and my Hugh McCluggage in because you have to boost it up with the bonus. So just be really careful. Don't just put 15, 20 legs just because this player gets 15 all the time. It's very, very easy for them 1 week to lose it, and at $1.10 odds, sometimes it's not worth it.
Well, $1.10 odds are more worth it than the $1 odds that you see sometimes. Like the other week, I think it was Jai Simpkin against Geelong to have 25 disposals, Pez, was $1.03. Him to get, if we think about this, $1.03, him to get 20 disposals is $1.01. Now, when you think about the maths of this, Pez, there's 700 disposals per game, and you're guaranteeing that he's going to get 20 in 4 quarters of football with another 40 other blokes there. He gets to roll his angle in the first quarter. That's done. How can it be a guaranteed?
And the other reason it's not fair, if he's $1.01 to get 20, he should be $17 not to get 20.
Yes, that's what they need to bring in. We've said this many times, Pez.
Because Brisbane this week, Sauce, I'm going to spoil it, but they're $1.01 and West Coast is $17. So if it's $1.01, $17 is the opposite. So Jai Simpkin to get 19 or less, bang. Let me have some of that at $17.
I don't mind that. Maybe we need to. We could start our own thing. Pez.
No, because if we do that, we lose.
No, Pez, go to your fridge and pull out a vegetable, and we'll call it that. Let's call it squash bet, like pickle bet. Find another fun vegetable to use.
Yeah, but if we are offering $17, we're going to go bankrupt in not very long.
We'll just use off your winnings. It's fine. My model's not great at the moment, but let's speak on to a winning model, Pez. No more bets for that game. We've really flogged that dead horse. Speaking of flogging a dead horse, AFL, stop putting 2 games on the Friday night. Bring back Thursday night football, especially when you're going to start one game halfway through the first game.
Yeah, and the reason they've done it is probably to hide North Melbourne, because when Port Adelaide Bulldogs come back on, everyone's going to switch off that, and they just want to hide.
Get the ratings up, Pez, because we know that Perth is having a bit of a battle at the moment with Channel 7 Western Australia for their rights for the TV. Did you hear about that one?
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, they're fighting Paramount. Paramount?
Oh, Paramount from 2025, yep.
Yeah, no, Paramount Plus. Yeah, so it's the next edition of it, Pez. They're trying to get an all-streaming service to host the footy rights in Perth.
Yeah, well, under the Paramount umbrella is Channel 10. So Channel 10 would you have to have 4 free-to-air games.
Yeah, but then the rest would be on a stream device.
The rest would be on a stream device, and your Foxtel boxes would be pretty much obsolete, because the only reason I have a Foxtel box is because of Fox Footy.
Yep.
So those subscriptions go. See you later, Foxtel, in Australia for AFL fans.
Yeah, definitely. Or anyway, let's get back to the game. It's an 8:40 start in Victorian time. It's probably a 7:10 start in Perth, or
2 hours, I think.
2 hours, yeah, so it's about that. Fremantle taking on North Melbourne. $1.08 favourites are the Dockers. North Melbourne, $7.50. Minus 39.5 is the line at $1.90. 157.5 is the total over under points. Pez, the main question for this one is, we spoke earlier about Fremantle being the real deal, but they've proven many times that they've got a strong defence. They can start. They're starting to put on some scores there, Pez. They've got a young forward coming in for his first game from the Waffle. They're still without Fife. They've been without Taberner. Are they a real contender, Fremantle?
The players that they've missed and the quality of players they've missed, no one would have guessed that they're in the top 4 at this stage of the season. So they've done quite well with a healthy percentage source of 138. So you say their defence is really good. They've only given up 435 points for the year. Melbourne have given up 434, and we know how good Melbourne are. And on the other hand, Fremantle have actually scored 601, so within 7 games. And you wouldn't think that when they've had some low-scoring games, like what did they score? 69 on the weekend against Geelong. Mm-hmm. And they're actually up there. So they've done really, really well. Fife missing, Darcy's missed some games, Taberner missed the start of the season, and then he missed last week. So they're travelling really well. They should easily beat North Melbourne, and I found it hard to find some value in here, but I think I've put something together, Sauce.
Yeah, there wasn't much value in it, Pez, but the impressive thing for Fremantle, Pez, before we get onto your bet, is that they're not just winning the games in Fremantle. So they've still got another probably 7 or 8 games in Fremantle. That's an easy win. You look at them at the moment, 6-1, that puts them at 13 games. Last year it was 11 to make the finals. They're pretty much set for the finals.
Oh, they make the finals, and they're going to be, trying to fight for top 4 and trying to keep this form up and get their players healthy and see if they become a good thing. You lose Adam Chera, and Nat 5 doesn't play for the season, and they're sitting 6-1. Who'd they lose to?
They lost to
St Kilda over there, at home. Yep.
Yeah,
Look,
you should have sold that game, Pez, and then they would have been 7-0.
Yeah, sold it to Cairns. Maybe they would have. So my little value multi that I've found now. I think Fremantle, they don't like scoring. So they have scored they're 600, but they don't like to let the opposition score either. So I've gone with the unders here, and I've gone some alternate unders and a few different things. So under in the first half, 77.5. So they can't get 78 combined points together at halftime. And then for the total game, under 173.5. So for the first half under wins, that alternate under will definitely win. And then you've got Fremantle minus 12.5. So you've got to win by 13 plus against North. $2.58 boosted with Ladbrokes, 1 refund per day on the Friday. I'll give that a crack at $25.
Yeah, you didn't mind that, Pez. You a little bit of bounce in your voice. You were a little bit happy with yourself over there, Fig Jam Perry.
Well, I had to find something. The line's ridiculous at 40 odd, and you don't know what North Melbourne are going to do. $1.08 head to head. You just got no value there.
What you could do, Pez, you could jump over to Ned's and put North Melbourne. You can pick 2 teams to beat. 2 teams. North Melbourne taking on West Coast. That'd be a good little value bit of game. That's the only way that you bet on North Melbourne to win this week, wouldn't it?
Well, what's it paying?
I don't know. You can have a look up that, Pez, while I introduce the next game. We talk about Richmond taking on Collingwood. This should be an absolute cracker. 8th versus 9th. Richmond come in favourites with the inclusion of Dusty Martin, $1.38. Outsiders are the Pies, $3 minus 17.5 is the line. Over 171.5 points. Pez, this one's really, really straight and simple for you. 8th plays 9th. They're sitting 7-4/7-3. Richmond being the IFA there. Which team sustains this? Like, both teams didn't make finals. Both teams will be fighting for a final spot. Do both teams make it, or is there one team that is ahead of the other team at the moment?
Oh, didn't listen to what you said.
Yeah, cool. What's the odds?
I was looking up this, and I'm just a little bit surprised. North Melbourne $1.53. West Coast $2.41. Head to head this round to score more points.
That's not a bad little bet. North Melbourne should pile it on against. No, they shouldn't.
I hope not.
So North Melbourne should score more than West Coast. West Coast are terrible.
Yeah, losing a lot of players. I don't know.
I mean, you look at North Melbourne when they played earlier. They only had 19 available players and they only won by 40 points or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, back to the actual question, Pez.
Yeah.
Your attention span's not that great. They obviously cannot multitask. 8th versus 9th, Collingwood taking on Richmond. Both teams sitting 7-4/7-3. Richmond being the outer there. Which team sustains this form, or which team are we more hopeful in, or do you put more trust in? Take out the pedigree in Richmond. Just compare their 2 lists and where they are at the moment. One team on the rise, up and coming, and the other team sort of on their decline, Pez. Sitting at 28th to 30 mark. We saw Caddy retired earlier this week. A 2-time premiership player. They're in that age bracket. Who can sustain this more just on their list alone?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I think Collingwood have been up and down this season. They've proven that they're going to be a better side than a lot of people thought they would be, and Richmond are going to be a worse side than a lot of people thought they would be. I think the odds should be a little bit closer. I think the odds are a bit skewed because Dustin Martin comes in, so the Collingwood line was looking okay. I think they lose no one really. Callum Brown, I don't really rate him highly as a player. Magin omitted finally, and Bianco and Oliver Henry come in. They've got a few no names, but they've got what they've got is some youth, and they've got some older players as well that just come in, like Jack. What's his name? Ginnivan. He's up and about, isn't he?
Blonde bumshell. They're loving him.
He'll be giving someone the finger after he kicks a goal on the weekend.
Good.
Or something.
You like to see it. You like to see that,
give him
that
a bit of
arrogance
passion
and that rudeness of Collingwood back in there.
You just want to see it. But Dustin Martin
just
coming
quickly,
back in. How's he going to
How
go?
long before they mention the Rat Pack? How long before they mention it for him? Over under rounds left. We've got 12 rounds left? That's terrible.
I'll give him
14 rounds left.
When do they play? Saturday? I'll give him 48 hours.
48 hours. Sorry to interrupt there, Pez. Keep on kicking.
That's all right. But I don't know who's going to win the game, Source. If Richmond have faded late in games, and Collingwood have been up for the fight and at least tried to continue to go. So if I was going anywhere, I'd be looking at a Collingwood plus if it was just a single bet, Source. But where are you thinking on this game?
Similar sort of lines, Pez. I think that Richmond their consistency's probably been a little bit more consistent, and that's a funny little thing to say, but they've been available and been in more games, and they have sort of faded out. Collingwood, whilst they're still having a great winning percentage and they're still getting the job done, they do fade late. We saw it against St Kilda, we saw it against West Coast, we saw it against on the weekend. Who do they play on the weekend? We saw it against Essendon, again, where they sort of faded and they sort of let Essendon back in the game, and then it kicked on obviously in that last 5 minutes from a Darcy Parish injury. So I think Richmond probably are the more sustainable ones to be able to make finals, but I think both teams are a real shot. I think Collingwood really are a shot to make finals, and they definitely caught me by surprise. I've put a bonus bet down in this one, Pez, because I'm not really sure it's going to swing, and I don't mind the value in this one. Shea Bolton, he's been in ripping form. I've got him to get 2 or more goals. $1.80 on its own, Pez. I think that's great value.
He's a
the inclusion of Dusty Martin has boom. Do you know Dusty Martin to kick 2 goals this weekend is straight up $1.50. Like straight up, just $1.50. I don't think that's great value from a bloke coming back, but I do.
You think he'll rest forward?
Oh, you'd have to, wouldn't you? He missed a lot of footy.
He missed training as well, like when he was off. Whatever he was doing.
Yeah, so you'd say he'd probably rest forward, so that's probably why he's short odds. But I do like the value that it's pushed back Shea Bolton. He's averaging 2 or 3 shots on goal. The last 3 games that he's actually played, he's kicked 2-1, 2-3, and I think he kicked 3-something against West Coast, but that doesn't really count. And I've gone over 170.5 pairs. Collingwood are trying to play like Richmond, that high, fast, high-risk football, though they're not as good as Richmond at it. So it's going to come back the other way just as fast. Over 170 should be easy there, pairs. Like you said, close game. I've gone Richmond 1-39. I think they get the job done. That gives me odds of 675, and I've whacked my $25 bonus bet on it.
That's cheeky at 675 there.
It's not cheeky yet, Bez.
It meets the.
It does
service.
meet the criteria.
I've gone my alternate line of over 135.5. So if you're over 170 gets up, that's pretty easy. I've gone Collingwood at alternate handicap plus 41.5.
Yep, love that.
You like that because Richmond 1-39. That would mean that would happen. And instead of me going the plus Collingwood line, because, Richmond can turn it on in bursts,
they can.
I've gone Collingwood's total points, just them alone, to be over 76.5.
I love that.
And you know what Richmond's were? The line was 93.5 because you plus the line at 17.
I don't like that maths. That means my over 170 doesn't get up. Terrible maths. Don't love it.
Well, that's my bet. It's $2.04 and 3-leg same gamer with lads on the Saturday, so I can get my bonus $25.
Yeah, Pez, all right. We're finally, I think we're up to round 3 of game 3 of the game. We've really been getting into detail, which has been good, Pez, just to talk footy. All right, we get into the Saturday afternoon, 1:45 traditional time slot. Sydney taking on Gold Coast, Pez. And, this brings back some nostalgia, Pez, of the big comeback from Gold Coast taking on Sydney, all those years ago, Pez. $1.14 favourites are Sydney. Gold Coast outsiders, $5.50. Minus 31.5, Pez. $1.90 as always, over, under. Total game points, 171.5 pairs. What can we expect for this one? A Gold Coast up for the fight, or is Sydney just going to make it a bounce back game after their Brisbane debacle?
Look, they're going to try all they want, but this is a great bounce back spot for Sydney. They were under so much pressure last week. They put the pressure up for the first quarter and at the start of that third quarter there, Sydney did, and they matched it with Brisbane, who one of the best teams in the competition. So Sydney's midfield will have a bit of a field day here against the Gold Coast Suns. SCG small ground. You don't know which forward's going to pop up and kick the goals. Papley will be better for the run that he had last week as well. So they've got a lot going for them down there at Sydney. Isaac Heaney will come out and take some strong marks and kick some goals too. So lots of different things. I don't like the Gold Coast Suns in terms of when you've got Collins down in defence. He's grown his mullet. He's gone his handlebar mustache and, popping around. Have a look at me. And the ball just keeps coming down. He gets beaten and I just don't like the demeanour. So shave it off, get a haircut and try and get a fist in there.
How's old man Perry, get off my lawn, get a haircut? Get off my lawn, young whippersnapper. Back in my day, we just played football and smoked darts out the back of the goalpost.
Am I getting that old? Jesus.
Well, how are you? Cut your hair and don't like the swagger. Pez,
I don't like
it.
Mate. Dan Butler had his mullet. He played well one season. He was having a few rough games. Shaved it off.
I don't know why people go to that. Like, well, you know what? He's having a rough game. The hair must be distracting him.
Because he's a little bit of a, I'm showing off. I'm doing a little bit of this.
Jeez, Pez, you sound old, Pez. All right. I'm steering clear for this one, Pez.
I'm not steering clear here. I've gone Neds. 4-leg, same game multi.
Of
I
course
can
you
get
would.
it.
Ned's the old man. And then Flanders has a mustache, Fairs. Are you sure you want to go with Ned's?
Oh, no, I'll get a bonus back. What I've done is I've gone alternate lines over under and alternate game lines for both sides. So
That's unlucky.
over 145.5, but under 200.5. And then I've gone Sydney, it's minus 7.5, win by 8 or more, and Gold Coast plus 59.5. Gives me odds of $2.54. Boosted with Ned's with the same game multi special, $25 on that. I'll see how we go.
Yeah, don't mind that at all, Pez. It's a little bit complicated to alternate this, alternate that, and over this and under that. But let's just get into a basic game, Pez. GWS taking on Geelong. Flashbacks to the semis last year, Pez. This should be an absolute cracker. $1.96 favourites. Outsiders are the GWS Sydney, GWS Giants. The odds for this one have swung in. It was $1.90 both ways originally at the start of the week. Now Geelong are in favourites, $1.84. Minus 2.5 is the line. Over under 166.5 Pairs, and hopefully both teams don't struggle as much as I did in that intro. But if we go back to the semis last year, both teams were semis here. GWS after an impressive win last year against Sydney in that first final, took on Geelong in an absolute. It was a shocking game. If we remember, it was the first week of suspension from Toby Green, and it was an absolute debacle of a game. Shithouse.
Yeah, well, we don't have to worry about that from last year. We just have to worry about this, and I actually think the bookies have this completely wrong, and there's a huge overreaction from GWS's win last week.
Huge.
I did get it wrong last week. I thought Adelaide were going to get up. It didn't happen. So GWS won. They won huge. They looked good, but we got to remember who they were playing. Adelaide. Mm-hmm. They usually bring the effort. They didn't. They were inconsistent. GWS were there. They got it into their forward line very easily. Toby Green had a bit of a field day. No one went near him for a whole quarter. And
they thought he wasn't playing.
When he kicked, they still thought he was suspended, but he's sitting there in the forward pocket snapping goals. And GWS, they just had a field day last week. Geelong coming off a loss. I love decent sides coming off a loss for a bounce-back game.
Especially when they're playing, Pez, a team that's in that middle of the ranks. It's not an easy win. So the North Melbourne scenario, not always great because they're like, you know what, that's an easy win. But this one, they've got to go to the drawing board. They've got to put in the hours. It's a great bounce-back spot.
Oh, you have to do it. And GWS, so, they're feeling good about themselves. They're strutting through Blacktown or wherever it is up there in Sydney, in the Western Sydney there.
They've all got their mows and mullets out there.
I'm not going to be talking about haircuts, but I think Geelong win this. And I've gone with Jackabucha. He told us last week about Blue Bet and the 12 plus at half time.
Great one.
I was gone the max stake, $50, $1.74, and got a little bit less sauce because I went with the insurance of 12 plus at half time. I win. Just Geelong there. $1.74, max 50.
Yeah, love that, Pez. I love everything you've said too. The bookies definitely have overreacted, and we often see this. Bookies obviously have a job to do in terms of reacting to the markers, but you've got to look at the things. Every team has a bad week, and realistically, that was a bad week for Sydney. The game last week should have been a closer game. It should have been between 1 to 39, and it should have been a lot closer. Adelaide dropped the ball. GWS had an impressive field day, but they bounced back to reality against the Cats. The Cats will come out, and I think they will do this pretty easy, Pez. They play Blacktown the ground quite well up there, Pez. I've gone a 3-leg same game multi with my bet return in this one, Pez. I've got a 3-leg multi, $3.10 is the odds. Geelong head-to-head straight out win. That's great value at $1.84. Over 166.5. They should get that as well. And Geelong, pick your own line, plus 27.5, Pez. The old 2-leg, 3-leg multi with a bit of insurance. That should give me a nice $77.50 return.
Yeah, nice. Take the insurance and keep doing that. Geelong with 4 wins sitting inside the 8 source. GWS with 2 wins. They beat Adelaide. They beat the Gold Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Done nothing.
Done nothing
all year. Coaches under pressure. I know Toby Green's back, but Geelong, Tom Stewart back down there as the general, pointing everyone in the right direction. They're not going to leave him in the forward pocket by himself.
Yes, they got two. The top 2 in the Coleman medal is Geelong's both forwards, and they're taking it week for week. And GWS are not going to be able to keep up.
You
with this.
think Darty, Jeremy Cameron, is going to want to lose against this old side in GWS?
No chance. You think the rest of Geelong's going to let that happen? No.
My goodness. If they lose, I'll be very, very surprised. So max 50 there, we like it.
Yeah, Bookie's got that wrong, Pez. Love your bets. All right, we get on to a modern day, and not even just a modern day, it's just a rivalry full stop. We get the Saturday night time slot, absolute cracker. AFL finally got a time slot right. Essendon taking on Hawthorn. $2.31 outsiders are the Bombers. $1.59 are the Hawks. Minus 9.5 favourites are the Hawks. Over under total game points 172.5. Pez. Essendon, they need something to happen. They've been pretty terrible, to be honest. They're getting scored against from end to end, Pez, quite easily last week. Can they bounce back this week? Let's just focus on this week for this one, Pez. Can they bounce back?
Yeah, this is a really hard one, and odds you can throw it up in the air and land it either way. Either team, $1.80, $2.20, whatever you want to do it at. Hawthorn are quite heavy favourites in terms of who they're playing and what they're going up against. Is it Marvel Stadium, you said?
It is at Marvel Stadium.
Marvel Stadium, which does help the Bombers, I think, trying to get some confidence up and go from there. Interesting that Dylan Shield was dropped and then made the sub last week. They looked really poor, the Bombers, against the Bulldogs in patches there, and just didn't fight for it. Their forward entries were absolutely horrendous, and Peter Wright, he kicked 4 in the end source, but he had a poor day. He did not get to the drop of the ball. He didn't lead to the right areas, and the ball delivery in his defence didn't help him too much. So I think this is the type of game where you can go on the underdog because they need to do something. And Essendon fans have written off this season, obviously, and done all of that. Hawthorn, what are they doing? Are they a good side? Are they a bad side? They had wins at the start of the year against North Melbourne and Port Adelaide, who we've seen rounded out to have a poor thing. They've had bad showings against, say, St Kilda, where they got flogged. Who else did they get flogged against? 41 points. Sydney, it was in about one quarter, and then they beat Geelong, lost to a point by Carlton. So I would go. I'm steering clear, and I've rambled on about it, but I think I would go somewhere around the Essendon line and market my bet around that.
Yeah, Pez, I love the value in this one. I think that the Bombers get this done. I actually believe that this is a perfect spot for a bounce-back sort of game. They're playing the old crosstown rivals, Pez, not the crosstown rivals, obviously, but they're playing a line in the sand sort of game. Essendon need to bounce back. This is a, I'm still not sold on Hawthorn. I'll be honest. Like they haven't impressed me. They've beaten a couple of teams through some gutsy performances. The Geelong win was impressive, but again, they only played two quarters of football against a team that only played 2 quarters of football. You look at some of the other wins they had, Pez, not that impressive. I love what you said about going with the line, Pez, and that's exactly what I've gone with. I've gone with Ned's 25 $2 lines, Pez. Love the value in that one.
You'll take it. What is the line there that you've got? That you got?
The line that I've got is plus 9.5, Pez. So
plus 9.5.
A nice little bet to get that one done for a Saturday night to enjoy the footy.
Yeah, we'll enjoy the footy. Will Brisbane Lions fans? I'm not too sure because they're going to absolutely flog the Eagles.
They are, Pez. They really are going to flog the Eagles. Let's get into it, Pez. $1.02, Pez. So it's not even a guaranteed. $1.02 Brisbane Lions taking on the West Coast Evils. $13, Pez. $13, a little bit juicy there.
Well, they've come in.
The line for this one is minus 72.5. What a absolute spectacle of a line. Over 176.5, Pez. The big case for this one is not about the game itself. Is should the AFL start to look at this? And this is the 3rd or 4th week that West Coast are going to be affected with injuries. They've got a massive, not only amount of injuries, Pez, but it's the amount of players that are out. So through COVID, so you got Simpson who's coaching them out with COVID protocols.
Might be a good thing.
Clark, Withard and Nelson, they're all COVID protocols. Allen with his foot, Joyce with an ankle, Rioli with a hamstring, Sheed with an ankle, Shuey with a hamstring, Yao with a concussion, Cole with an ankle, Langdon with an ankle, Petrocelli with a hamstring, Jessup with an ankle, Edwards with a groin, Hugh with a back, Nat Nui with a knee, O'Neill with a knee. That's just their outs, Pez. They're putting a whole...
That's their outs from last week.
That's their outs. That's the people that are unavailable for this week. Yeah. But they're putting the waffle on hold. They're not having any games on the Thursday or the Friday in preparation. They're pushing everything back so that West Coast can have a look through the waffle and find enough suitable players for this. When's the AFL going to step in?
I don't think they will. I think because West Coast have been so poor, they didn't handle COVID very well when they were in the hub, did they? They had a sook and kicked it up. So the AFL is probably going to be like, you know what? You're sooked when we made the solution and, saved your players and you got to play every week and you didn't do well then. And now you're looking after yourselves. You're having a bit of bout with COVID and bad luck and you got your injury list that we can't control. So field a team and play the game.
Yeah, so you're right.
You think they're going to definitely play the game this week? Or you think they'll step in?
I hope they play the game because I like to see West Coast... I don't like to see football like that. We just talked earlier about the spectacle of footy, and it doesn't do the game any justice by playing in games like this. I think eventually there's going to come a stage where the AFL needs to step in because any team can be affected by COVID. But in this situation, we need to stop saying that it's a COVID affected because there's only 4 blokes that are out by COVID. The rest of them are just injuries and it's bad luck, and we saw that they've got a P heart when it comes to pressure. And yeah, I think that the AFL will start to step in when it becomes 4 or 5 games with 100-point losses.
Well, I look at last week's side, okay? They lost by 109 points to Richmond, who aren't at the top of the AFL at the moment. They had Luke Shuey, Liam Duggan, Jack Redden. I'm just going to name the decent players, yeah? Tim Kelly, Shannon Hearn, Jack Darling, had Andrew Gaff out there, Jamie Cripps, premiership player, Jeremy McGovern, Josh Kennedy, Willie Rioli, Jake Waterman, Liam Ryan. There's enough in that side to not lose by 109 points.
Yeah, I suppose.
You can't be doing that every week. There's got to be some form of effort. There's got to be some form of pride. And whatever reason is happening, they've just cracked it and gone, no, we're not going to play. You're there. You're on TV. You know you are. Go in for the footy. Try and win the footy for your club, and try and go forward with the ball. Like don't just stand down and not go for the ball because poor us. We've lost. We've got all these injuries and things. You got a heap of premiership players out there.
Yeah, do something. Have some pride.
Have some pride in the jumper and your club, and just
fight for the fans. Just put a fight up.
You're playing at West Coast last week against Richmond. You look into the stands.
There's more Richmond.
There would have been a lot of West Coast fans there though, and you look out there as a player. Play for some of those families going to the footy and actually put in the effort. I didn't see the effort last Friday night, Sauce.
No, there was no effort. The game's already lost before they play.
And is Brisbane just going to put the cue in the rack and only win by 8 goals, 9 goals just to not embarrass West Coast?
Why would they, Pez, when everyone else has a free hit against them? Richmond jumped up 20% last week in percentage. Brisbane need that percentage if they want to try and secure. It's going to be tight at the top. They're going to pile it on, I think.
Yeah, well, they're 5% behind Melbourne at the moment, so they definitely have to jump that.
There's an easy 20% gaze. That was on like an 80-point victory. They smashed them by like 200 points, which is not going to happen. But there's 40% you can make up just there.
Chances that West Coast don't even get on the plane. Just forfeit the game.
No. West Coast probably will get on the plane. They'll go somewhere else.
Just go on holiday. Yeah, because in local basketball, the other team doesn't show up.
Yeah, forfeit.
It's just a forfeit.
Yeah, 0 to 20. You don't lose that many points, and the Brisbane Lions don't get percentage till the week after.
Oh, would it be better for West Coast to do that?
Remember that old thing as a junior when they're like, if you give a walkover, you don't get any percentage. You have to let the other team score. No, you don't. It just means it just gets on the week after.
I don't know, but I'm steering clear in this $1, $2. You can't really do it. You know what you could go? On the Sunday, I might be putting out a little disposal fiasco there.
No, if you put it on the Sunday, Pez, you've missed the Saturday night.
Is this Saturday night, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think West Coast think it's on Sunday as well.
You sound like some of the Twitter people. Like, geez, I was going to put. Looking at the stats, Kelly got 25. I had him for 25.
Wait, who are you going to call out?
I'm not calling out anyone, Pez. But 13 odds, Pez. It is a little bit juicy, and it's
cheeky.
A little bit cheeky, Pez. I got some stats for you, Pez. Michael Voss this year, first game, win. Sam Mitchell, Hawthorn, first game, win.
Oh no.
Craig McRae, Collingwood, first game, win against your mob.
Yeah.
All right. Ash Hansen, Bulldogs, first win. Jamie Graham, I don't know who the fuck that is. All right, Fremantle, he coached Fremantle. I think my notes are wrong there, but he coached Fremantle. First game win. Blake Carousella, the only win they've had for Essendon. Brendan Lade, St Kilda, win. Last week, Adam Uze, first game, win. Matthew Knight, first game, 120-point loss. I've gone massive cheeky, Pez. I've gone 3-leg same game multi, Brisbane Lions at the alternate line, minus 120.5 points.
No.
Breaks the trends. All the stats don't lie, Pez. There's a stat for you.
What's the odds of that?
That on its own is like $11.
Oh.
That's not even that good. It's not even that good. I've gone the fixed line as well is minus 72.5. Just so a total line, if you just total them up there, 195 points just in the bet slip. And Charlie Cameron kicked 2 goals.
You'd hope he kicked 2 goals if they win by 120
So I'll
points.
put 25 on that, Pez. That gives me odds of 11.75, and West Coast odds are still higher than that. So that's a guaranteed.
Jeez,
win,
you
Pez.
wanted to make it sound like you were going the new West Coast coach there, but yeah, good luck with that on your Saturday night.
Yeah, well, I'll be partying all the way through Sunday when that gets up, Pez. All right, we can catch up to you where you are, Pez, on the Sunday. I know why you wanted to talk Sunday, because your Saints are taking on the D's. Melbourne, the reigning premiers, 7-0, $1.32 favourites coming up against the Saints, $3.43, minus 20.5, $1.90 as always, over, under, total game points, 164.5, Pez. Are the Saints going to cause the biggest upset of the season? Not the biggest upset of the season, but the first. Well, actually, you know what? It's pretty close. Are they going to cause the D's to give up that first loss?
Well, no one thinks the D's are going to lose, do they?
Nope.
So, could this be the one? I'm not too sure. I don't think so. I don't like playing Melbourne at the MCG as a St Kilda supporter, but I'm just going to steer clear and have a look. Hopefully, King kicks a bag or something, and we are competitive and don't get blown out, or can at least hold their heads up high after their performance.
Yeah, I think Melbourne get the job done here. I'm a little bit worried. I don't like the line at minus 20.5. I think that's way too big for the Saints, who have been...
Oh, jump on the plus.
They have been impressive up until last week's, where they gave away a win, basically, for selling for money. I think that it's going to come a time where Melbourne are going to get challenged. I don't think it's going to be at the G, and I don't think it's going to be against the Saints this week. So I'm steering clear. If I'd be looking for value, maybe Melbourne the 1-39. I think that's probably where it's going to be at. But that's steer clear for me, Pez.
Hey, if this was at Marvel, there's a little bit of a different story, and the line would have come in a little bit more.
Do you reckon the line would have come in that much, though?
I reckon 14.5.
14.5. I would have had 16.5, so that would have been decent.
There you go. It's 15.5 on our book.
On what do we call it? Squash bet.
Oh, you talk about vegetables or some stuff. Let's talk about Carlton.
Pickled onion bet. All right. Let's get on to the Blues. Pairs taking on the Crows in the last game of the round. Sunday, 4:40 time slot at Marvel Stadium, I think it is this one. So Carlton taking on Adelaide. $1.34 favourites are the Blues. Outsiders $3.28 are the Crows. Minus 20.5 is the line. Over under 173.5 is what we're playing for. Pez, the Blues are obviously in a lot of form, but they have struggled against lesser teams. Do they struggle this week against the Crows?
Looking at the Crows' outs and ins, I don't think so. Matt Crouch got omitted. The player that got 35 disposals every single week a couple of seasons back. Ned McHenry, I think, is a bit of a loss up forward for Adelaide, and Brodie Smith is injured as well. So big names out for them. Not too much coming back in. Little James Rowe up forward is a little lively one, and I think Adelaide can push them a little bit. I want to see final teams. I want to have a look at that total game points, and if it is up really, really high, like the 170 plus, I'll be going under in this game. So I think Carlton should win. They should try and beat up on their easy fixture and try and make finals and keep those feral Blue supporters happy.
Yeah, the feral Blues. You're always going to have a dig at the fan bases, Pez, don't you?
Yeah, but I haven't had to have a dig at them for ages because they've been crap, and now they think they're going to win the premiership. So they're coming out in swarms.
They are coming out in swarms. The Blues are back, Pez, the most loyal. I couldn't even get through that sentence.
What was that one with Judd? And they had we're coming.
And they're finally coming. They're not wrong.
Are they?
They are finally coming.
I don't know.
Every
We'll
Blues
see.
fan is coming every time they Cribs gets the ball. So anyway, but off topic there, Pez, and a little bit of a crude joke there. But I'm steering clear in this one, Pez. But just an update, it was Jamie Graham for Fremantle. He's their forwards coach. Just looked it up.
Bit of Randy Marsh in the tents.
Hey?
Bit of Randy Marsh in the tents.
All right,
going
Pez.
on Twitter.
All right, Pez. Oh, Pez, let's get on to something that's not funny, hopefully, is our multis. And I'm sure you've got 7 or 8 multis in this one.
No, just the one this week because there's not that too many specials. And I don't even know because I can't really read the terms and conditions on tab source.
Yeah,
I tried to do it
as well, a little bit sneaky.
and couldn't do it. And I don't know if my multi is going to count for a bonus.
On the same.
But that's okay because I think it's going to win anyway.
Yep.
So I've put it, and if it does get a bonus, won't be happy because it lost. But we'll see how we go. So
What have you gone with?
I'll put the 3 legs on. I'll put it as a multiplier. I still get the multiplier on tab, 1.05 multiplier, which is
that's
good.
where you're going to lose it, Pez.
That's fine because it's not going to lose. But I've got Fremantle at $1.09, so that's where
that also might be where you lose.
That's what I'm saying.
2 negatives cancel out, so it's fine.
We'll see what happens. Geelong at $1.77, love that, and Sydney at $1.16. Hopefully not to get upset against the Gold Coast. That's $2.23. Put the max 50 on it, and been going well in the multis, so want this one to get up as well.
Yeah, love that, Pez, because I've got 2 of those legs. Better odds, 3-leg same game multi with tab, no multiplier and no legs below the dollar. What'd you say, $1.10 mark? Is that what it was? I got Sydney at $1.16, Geelong at $1.90, and I've chucked Richmond in there as well, $1.40 to get some.
When are you putting these bets on?
I put
Geelong at $1.90.
It's a great bet.
When did you do that?
I don't know, just before the team release. I don't know where I put it in. Does it tell me?
I don't know what
Thursday,
you're doing.
May.
How do I get a 13-cent difference?
6.56. I put it in 6.56. So
Today?
But the odds have already been out. You just got to be. You got to be. Pez, you run a podcast where you're doing betting. You need to be on the ball, Pez.
Yeah, well,
I'm sitting there refreshing all day.
You're putting out a one that's not available for the listeners.
No, not available anymore. Either's yours. It's not available.
$1.77.
Oh, what are they now? Geelong, is that what it is? $1.77?
Yeah.
No. I just read out Sportsbet one. It is, what was it? $1.84. Get your head out of your ass. All right, so anyway, that's $3.08 for that one. I'll put the max stay at 50 pairs. That's going to be a nice little return for both of us. Over the 300s for that one for us. $154 I'm going to get for that back one.
Yeah. Well,
Look at you. Just you can't even talk. You're a little bit pissed off because I got better odds, eh? You're winning in everything else.
now look what I'm looking at.
Oh, we're losing the plot, please. Let's tell our listeners where they can see some of this amazing content that you're showing me.
Well, where you can see what I'm showing Source and Source is losing it. I'm about to post it on Twitter at Behind the Bound with the little Carlton caption. So if you want to see
I thought that was going to be the image for people jumping on my multi.
No. That's
Or when the realization of who Jamie Graham was.
That's a complete opposite. I'll be putting the blue balls out there when you were doing Source multi.
Source multi, blue balls.
We'll see what we're doing. We're losing the plot, but that is our round 8 bet slips. They will be out on Twitter tomorrow at Behind the Bound. So if you want to jump on, you would have had to be listening to this podcast to be able to get some of the prices that Source put out, especially. So best of luck in your betting and your punting. Of course, you've got to be following Pez plus 62% in the ROI Source. It's got to keep going up.
You may be up and about, Pez, but it just proves that I shift the market when I put these bets down because they're not available anymore once I'm down at a massive plus 25.
I have to leave because I can't listen to you talk shit anymore. So I'm Pez. Peace out.
Oh, I'm still Source, guys. We'll catch up next time. And as always, if you're having a bet, make sure you bet responsibly.